Good morning, everyone. There's quite a lot of faces, and you're all a little bit scary in the nicest possible sense. So be gentle with me.
Give them half a second. Yeah.
Okay, so my name is Gemma. I work for the Alzheimer Society as a knowledge officer, which basically means I'm responsible for social purpose information covering health and well-being for members of the public, professionals, so on and so forth. So I'm just going to give you a bit of a brief overview about dementia and sight loss. I'm going to start today with a quote from Professor Tom Kitwood, who is the founding father of dementia care, really, as it is today. And that is, when you've met one person with dementia, you've met one person with dementia. And that's a picture of my granddad. He has dementia and cataracts. So that's pretty much why I'm standing in front of you. But I wanted to start with that quote because it's really important to remember that the person that you're working with, supporting, seeing in front of you is an individual and they have unique needs. So just some numbers about dementia. There are currently 850,000 people in the UK with a form of dementia. It costs around £26.3 billion a year. It's more common as you get older, but there's over 40,000 people under the age of 65 with a form of dementia. 2/3 of people with dementia are still living in the community, so they're still accessing community services, which is really important. And 70% of people with dementia have another condition or another disability, so they're not just living with dementia, they're living with lots of different conditions. So what is dementia? It's not an actual part of ageing. Dementia itself is not a condition, it's an umbrella term for a number of different diseases, such as Alzheimer's disease or vascular dementia, that affect the brain in different ways. It's defined as a disease that is progressive, so it will get worse over time, and it affects more than one aspect of thinking, so that might be memory, language, visual processing, and it affects daily living, not just for the person with dementia, but for those supporting them as well. When it comes to dementia, there's around about over 100 different types in actual fact, but there's sort of 5 to 6 main ones that you would have heard of. The main one being Alzheimer's disease, which is the most common, and then vascular dementia. Mixed dementia, which is usually Alzheimer's disease and vascular dementia. Dementia with Lewy bodies, which shares a lot of properties with Parkinson's disease, and you can also get Parkinson's disease dementia. And frontotemporal dementia, which is considered a rarer form of dementia, but is actually the second most common form of dementia in people under the age of 65. And that presents in a slightly different way. It's much more behavioural and language-based as an initial presentation. So what are the symptoms of dementia? The most common one, and the one that most people associate, is memory loss, so problems with day-to-day memory. Difficulties concentrating, planning or organising, so things like making decisions will become difficult. Problems of communicating, so loss of words, difficulties finding the right words. Sight and visual difficulties, so problems judging spaces, stairs become particularly difficult for people. Problems perceiving objects in 3D, so it becomes really hard to pick things up. Orientation difficulties, so losing your place in the time and day, not knowing what day it is. And mood and behavioural changes. People can become very withdrawn, apathetic, uninterested, so on and so forth. So dementia and vision. People with dementia may have visual difficulties that are nothing to do with their eyes. It's all to do with the processing in the brain. So actually the eyes are healthy, but the problems in the brain are causing visual problems, and you're going to hear more about that later. And some types of dementia do have a direct impact on vision, such as Alzheimer's disease and dementia with Lewy bodies. So the causes of sight loss and dementia, an eye condition such as cataracts, another health condition such as a stroke, normal ageing of the eye, or the dementia itself. And my last slide is another quote. It's so hard for Dad to do the things he liked to do. It's not just the effect of macular disease and his poor central vision, but the confusion of loss of memory because of his dementia makes everything twice as difficult for him. You can see him just giving up. I think that's a really powerful quote, and my hope for today is that you're given some information that means when you're meeting people with both conditions, you can help them to be in a position not to give up. So that's my aim for you for today and for all of us. Thank you very much.